Hello, everybody. Good morning. Today I won't be able to come to school, so I have to make this video for you guys to make your activity number 6. All right? Teacher Willard has to go Bangkok to send my daughter to the university. So let's get started. So in this particular activity, we need to have a little review about relational operands, logical operands, and these relational operands and logical operands, we are going to combine it with the if-else statement, right? So here are the basic relational operands. So in this case, you have more than, less than, less than equal, more than equal, not equal, and equal. For the logical operands, we have two. We have the logical operand or and the logical operand and. So I'll be giving you example on each of these um, operands. So let's start with the more than and less than operands. So assuming we have a variable a and the value is 2 and we have another variable b which has the value of 1, so we can say like a is more than b. All right, so let's take a look. Let's name this one hashtag. This is activity number 6 using if else statement. Right. Now, first thing we do is let's give an example of number 1 as our variable, and we're going to accept an integer for this. Remember that an integer, it is a whole number, right? So it only accepts whole number. And we're going to accept input, and our prompt would be like enter any number for number 1. Okay, something like this. Right. Now, in Python, you must be careful with the open bracket. If you open a bracket, you have to close it. And here we have two open brackets, so we have to close here twice as well. Now, another thing, be careful with the double quotation, okay, before the prompt text, because if you don't put a double quotation here, you will make an error later. So having this one, let's just copy this for the second number. Let's say this variable number 2 would be, change this one to number 2 as well. Now that we are accepting two variables, number 1 and number 2, we can now check the information using the if-else statement. So for this example, only. So assuming we have that variables, let's say if, now we are using the if statement. So if number 1, so using these relational operand more than number 2, and then we put the colon there, so that is the syntax. Then we say print, let's say number 1 is bigger than number 2, something like this. Now we compare number 1 with number 2. And if we enter, for example, 2 and 1, then we say number 1 is bigger than number 2 when it comes to value. Okay, remember that number 1 and number 2 are the names of the variable. And if this statement is not true, then we have else statement. And else statement comes with a colon as well. So after that, we say print, let's say number 2 is bigger than number 1. Okay, let's try running it. So to run your code, F5, and then let's save this one to your desktop. You just make another one. Let me try finding my M1 here. All right, so let's name this one if else. But for you guys, you have to save it as activity number 6. Or let's just say activity 6 to make it quick. So here we are accepting any number, right? So we say the value is 2, and then the value of number 2 is 1. So we say number 1 is bigger than number 2. However, if we are going to uh, change this one into another, for example, if 5, we say run number 1 now is 2, and the value of number 2 is 1, we say number 2 number 1 is bigger than number 2. Okay, same thing. But if we are doing the opposite way, so let's say fine, number 1 will be 1 and number 2 would be 2. So we'll say number 2 now is bigger than number 1. Okay, so that is exactly the example of this. However, in this statement, let's say the value of the first number is bigger than the value of the second number. What if we say that the value of number 1 has the same value in number 2? If you're going to run that code, say for this one, let's say F5, and then let's say 1 and the other one is 1. What would be the answer? It says here number 2 is bigger than number 1. Then our code is not enough. So we need to trap that kind of situation or statement that number 1 should show it is equal to number 2. How are we going to fix the problem? We're going to fix it by adding another condition in here. So we add here the elif statement. Now, what is an elif statement? Elif statement is an if, else if. Okay, if the first statement is not correct, then the computer will read the next condition, else if. So it's checking the first condition, the next condition, and then the last condition. So in this case, we are making the second condition, and it's gonna be like if number 1 is equal to number 2 variable, then we would say print, and then says number 1 is bigger than number 2. Okay, there we go. Now, in this case, you already have the idea of equal in this case, right? So we have A is equal to B. So now you have touched the equal relational operand. Now, if we are going to run this one, let's say run F5. Okay, so let's say earlier it says this one and this is error. So we have 1 and 1. So let's enter the same thing. Now it says, hold on, I did not change this. Okay, there you go. Number 1 is equal. Sorry, I did not change the prompt. Is equal to number 2. There we go. Run again. So run 1 and 1. Now it shows number 1 is equal to number 2, okay, or vice versa. So same amount, then we have equal value. So If we don't trap this one with the else if statement, then we get uh, a value or a return that is not real. Okay, because what we want is to have an equal value of variables number one and variable number two. Okay, so let me just tell you something here, guys. So if you are using an if statement, be sure to put the colon, okay, at the end, okay. And another thing, if you are using an if statement, make sure that this thing is written as like this, okay. You don't put this one below if statement that is straight on it. It's not good because Python is very sensitive when it comes to indentation. So if you try running like this, F5, see what kind of error you get. You will get an expected and indented block after if statement on line number 6. Now, this means to say that you have to move by using the tab key on your keyboard. So you have your keyboard in there, just tap on it and then you're good to go. So make sure you are using the tab. Do not use the space bar to move it because sometimes if you move more than one space, then it will make an error again. So I suggest you use the tab on your keyboard, tab, T-A-B on your keyboard. All right. So now that you know about this one, let's try using this less than and more than equal in relational operands. So in order for you to do that, I want all your activity 6 in one file. So what we're going to do is we're just putting a hashtag here so the computer will treat it as a comment. So once it is a comment, the computer will not process whatever statement therein except making it as a comment. All right. So in the next example that I am giving you, I'll be using this one, more than and equal. So in this case, what do you mean by less than equal and more than equal? Assuming, example, you have the variable age. And if you want to categorize age according to like the description, like age 0 to 5, we will classify, for example, as a baby. Okay, so any number that you enter starting from 0 to 5, okay, 0 starts from 0 going up, so that is going up. Okay, I'll go with the uh 0. Okay, 0, then it says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, starting from 0. Okay, and okay, I think have this one. All right, so starting from 5, counting down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or anything that starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is the meaning of this one. We're going to somehow start from 5, counting down. So less than equal to 5. So it starts with 5, going down. That is the meaning. The other one is more than equal to 5. So what does it mean? If the age starts with 5, it goes up. So it's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So anything within that range will be true. Okay, so just to show you the example, let's take a look and make some code on this. So example, we have age is equal to an integer, and then let's just input with a prompt, enter your age. So in this case, we are just trying to uh, categorize the age category. So in this case, I'm making three examples. Okay. For example, if the age is um, between 0 to 5, I will group it as a baby, all right? And if the age is more than 5, let's say 6, so less than equal, more than equal 6, okay, until 10. So we're going to categorize it as kid. And we have another one, the age that is beyond 10. So it's going to be 11, let's say 11 to 17. On that particular range, we are categorizing it as a teenager, like you are a teenager. So after that, any information or any number that is entered outside 0 to 17, we will just tell the user like you should check your information again. Okay, so let's try doing this one. So in this case, you guys will be doing something like this. So we have the age as our variable here, and we are going to check the age. So if age is um, less than equal to say more than equal to 0. So it starts with 0, more than is going up, more than 0, and we have age is less than or equal to 5. Okay, if this is true, we are going to print, you say you're a baby. Okay, now if it is not true, then we make another condition. So if you enter any number from 6 to 10, then we make a if. We check the variable age is more than equal to 6 and age is less than or equal to 10. So if it is true, then we are showing you're a kid. Okay. And if you enter not 0 to 5 or not 6 to 10, then what would be the possible number? So we would say like 11, you would say age. Age is more than equal to 11 and age is less than equal to 17. So in this case, we say print you're a teenager. Teenager. All right. So that's it. So if you enter any number starts from 0, more than equal 0, so it means to say 0 because the baby can be 0 year old, like still 1 month or 1 day old, okay, something like that. So from 0 to 5, so we are going to encapsulate the variables, okay, in one condition using the AND logical operand. So this is the AND logical operand. So what do you mean by AND logical operand? It has to be, both conditions must be true. Okay, so I will explain later for more example. So 0 to 5, this one is the age from 6 to 10, and then this one is starting from 11 until 17. So if the age is beyond that, for example, you enter 18 or maybe 100 or maybe a negative number. So we just put there an else command. So the else command, what does it do? If it does not meet with the first condition, it does not meet the second condition, it does not meet the third condition, then we have to show something here and the else. So the else statement becomes true. So we say print, you say check your age entry again. Enter only 0 to 17. So something like this. Right. So let's try to run this one. So F5. Oops, forgot. Okay, like I said, if you forget to have this colon here, you will get the same error like mine. So I have to put the colon here, this one too, and I have it here. So if colon, elif colon, and then have the elif here and the else here. So basically it's correct. Now, let's take a look. Enter your age. So we say 0. So you're a baby, right? If you enter another one, let's say you enter F5, you enter, let's say 6, you're a kid, right? And then another one, if you enter like, by the way, I have to change this one. Okay. And then if I enter like I enter 15. See, you're a teenager. Now, if I'm going to enter number more than 17, try this. If I enter like 20, let's say 25. So it will say check your age again. Enter only 0 to 17. All right. So that is exactly how this one works. And you already have this one, right? So now we're making another code for this one. So let's try this and let's make this one into another hash tag, so it's not gonna be um, read when we run the other code. So this activity is like a combination of many other things because this task or this activity will prepare you to make task number 2. All right, so let's do this not equal and equal. So for example, in here, let's say um, back to number 1 is equal to int, and then let's say input and our prompt, let's say enter any amount, right? Then we have, I'm just going to copy this so it's going to be quicker. So let's say here you have number 2, right? Enter any amount for the first number, okay? Say for the second number, right? Let's make it like this so we have a space. And now let's say here, checking using this not equal. So let's say if number 1 is not equal to number 2, right? Then full call of a colon. Then we're going to print, let's say number 1 is not the same with number 2. Okay. So if it is not the same, so for example, let's say we enter number 1 is 5 and we enter number 2 as 6. So we say number 1 is not the same with number 2. However, we say here, else, we could say, we could say print number 1. So let's say either. So either number 1 or number 2. Number 2 is equal. Okay, there you go. So here, this one is not finished. Yeah, we have to try it. So assuming, let me drag this one here. All right. Assuming we have number 1, let's say number 1 is 5, number 2 is 5, then you say here either number 1 or number 2 is equal. See? They are equal. Either number 1 or number 2 is equal. Okay, we can change the prompt to something easier to understand. So let's take and change this one to, let's say, number 1 and number 2 are equal. All right, something like that. So let's try it run again. Let's say 5, 5, 5, 5. There you go. Number 1 and number 2 are equal. So what if I enter not the same? So let's say 5 and 6. So number 1 is not the same with number 2. See? Right. So that is exactly the meaning of this one. All right. This thing not equal. Okay, and if you want more example, let's say 8 and 15. Let's say number 1 is not the same with number 2. All right, so I hope this one is clear for you. Oh, what happened here? Okay, let me just remove this one. Sorry about that. Okay, so that is basically the meaning of this. Now, for this, we had already done it under this one. Okay, so I won't be giving you that example again. Now, let's proceed with the logical operand. So if you notice, we have 2 here, and last time we already had used this and, but I will be giving you more example of this. So with that, let me just put a hashtag on this, and I will just give you another example. All right. So in order for you to run, you have to remove the hashtag wherever you want. Nah? All right. For the next thing, okay, we will be using the logical operands. Now, before I'll do the logical operands, I would like you to understand the concept of or. When you say or, it means to say one of the condition is true or one of the condition has been met. For example, in this case, you have the string variable here, okay, like MEP. If you notice, MEP has 3 letters. Now, if you are using a string that is more than 1 character, you will be using double quotation. So these are the double quotation. So open double quotation, close double quotation. And what does it mean in here? If you are familiar with the English alphabet, we have a big letter and a small letter. And then in Thai language, you don't have big letter or small letter. It's going to be the same. So in this case, small letter MEP and big letter MEP They are both acceptable if we are using the logical operand or. So, or one of the two is correct. So, small letter MEP, big letter MEP, whichever you use, it's going to accept. All right. So, I'll be making an example on this. Now, watch carefully. Um, I'm going to make a new one. I think is better. All right. Say like this. So for example, we are using this. So let's say letter is our variable, and since we are accepting here a string, we can put the str, or you can simply not put it. It's your choice. So str stands for string, and the short data type, I mean the short form for the data type would be str. And you guys will be using this as your input, and we say enter um, a word. Okay, we'll change that one. So instead of word, sorry, I'll just change this one. Letter, I will use it later. Word. Okay, for example, we use the MEP, so it's not a letter, it's a word. So let's say like this. If word is equal to, there we go. Let's say MEP. All right. What do we use for this? Okay, I will show you the possible um, manipulation of this one. So let's say print. Let's say you're an MEP student. All right. And then we say else. We say print the opposite. You're not an MEP student. All right. Now, um, since we only use the word MEP, the small one here, so it's gonna be, we are going only to accept MEP. So if we are going to run F5, let's save this one as or and right. So there we go. Enter a word. Let's say MEP. There you go. You are MEP student. And if you are not writing anything on it, let's take a look. Let's say gifted. So you're not MEP student. Okay. Even if you are going to, just change this one. Even if you're going to change or write it the MEP in big letter. So even if you're doing it, so for example, this one, MEP, it's not accepting it. Why? Because the only word that it is going to accept as true value is a small letter of MEP. So how are you going to make this computer accept big letter MEP? So we're going to use the OR, logical operand. So in this case, in our variable word, so we say or. So we use or. The variable word is equals to big MEP. So if you're going to run this code now, it is going to accept MEP. Remember in the last one, it doesn't accept. It says you're not MEP student. Let's try now. Okay. Let's say or MEP. Sorry, we have to use this one. Okay. All right. So let's try again. MEP. There you go. It says now you are an MEP student. There you go. It's already accepting because we put the or. Okay. Now, if you are using or statement, or and logical operand, you have to separate the two variation of your statement. So in this case, the word is MEP, small letters, and the other one we have ME a word which is big MEP. Okay, so or and for example, if you are accepting like small m, big E, and then small p, that's another condition that you are going to make. But for the sake of example, I'm only giving you like small MEP and big MEP. All right? Okay. So this one is done. Now teacher Willard is going to work on the and operands. Okay. Let me explain to you first the and operand, logical operand. So and logical operand is to use check logical information such as uh, when we process logical information, we're checking information such as username and password. Remember, as an example, if you are trying to sign in your Facebook account, if you enter your username correctly, you enter your password correctly, you can sign in your Facebook account, right? But if you enter your username correctly and you enter your password correctly, can you sign in your Facebook account? No, right? Or let's say your username is incorrect. You enter the wrong one, but your password is correct. Can you sign in? Still no, because the concept that is being used in that particular checking of information is the logical operand and. So it means to say password and username must be. When you say must be, 100% sure, two of them. If one is wrong, then it's gonna return false. That is the logic of the logical operand and. So how are we going to do this? So we are going to do this with another example. All right. So let's take a look at this example. Right. So let me just, by the way, this is activity 6 again. Name this one. You can combine this one with the other one here. Okay, you can add here. It's okay for me. However, in the sake of example, I want a clearer screen. So activity 6. All right. So let's try doing this one. You remember last time during the example that I gave you here? Right. So let me just do this again for you. Let's just remove. Okay. Have this one. Okay. And then I'm going to paste it. So just for the sake of example. All right. So in this case, we are using and, right? And operand. So this is exactly the and thing. So for example, if you are doing an and operand, you are encapsulating a statement, okay, that has to be true in both ways. Okay, so you have here if age is more than equal to 0 and the age is less than equal to 5, then If it is true, you return a baby. So what does this mean? This means to say that the computer will set a range exactly from 0 until 5. So any number that is entered within this particular 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the computer will execute this "you're a baby" statement. Okay, so that is the example of and. So there are many other examples for this if you are using the password and the username. Now, for the sake of that, I'll be trying to do that one for you. So let's say like this. For example, username is equal to, since it is a string, we say input. And then let's say enter your username. Okay. Oops. And then we'll just copy that one. We'll make this one password. So this is the concept. Oops. And let's say enter your password. Okay. Now we are going to check the information using the AND statement. So remember, both statements must be true. So let's say if, let's say username, okay, is equal to, let's say, MEP, all right? So we say like that, and we have the variable password is equal to Wira. Then we print, let's say, welcome to my computer class. So if it is true that you enter small NAP and the password Wira, then we can say, welcome to my computer class. If not, we have to say else print either your password or say username or password is incorrect. Right, let's run the code. Username, what is the username that we have here? We have MEP. Password, we run. Welcome to my computer class, because two statements are correct or two conditions are met. However, if one of them is wrong, let's say I write uh, gifted and then the password is Wira. See, either your username or password is incorrect. So if you're going to run this one as well, let's say you switch. Your password is correct, your username is correct, MEP, but your password is wrong. Let's say 12345. Then basically it's the same. So I hope you get the concept of this too. All right. And the OR statement. Okay. So now that I have told you or give you the idea how to do it, then um, please work on your task number 2 soon. Okay, just a little reminder in here. Note that the use of single quote in here, for example, single quote, you will only use single quote if there is only one letter or one character. If you use one single character for more than one letter, then later on you will have an error. So be very careful for this. Okay, so to give you more example to that, Let me just give you this. So let me just make this one like this. Comment. Okay, for example, let's say letter. So I forgot almost. So let's say str or and then input. Let's say enter A, B, or C only. So in this case, we are just accepting one character. I want you to use this one, okay, like this. So in our variable letter, let's say if variable letter is equal to A, something like this. So A is a single letter. So we just use one quote. And then we say print. We say A is for apple. Okay. And if it is not, okay, let me just have this one. And else if we say letter is equal to B, then we say print. So we have to move that one. Print, say B is for banana. So if not, we have another elif. Say letter is equal to C. Then print. If it is true, let's say C is for carrot. And if they enter any other letter from A, B, C, we will tell them else print. Let's say enter only. We can copy this one to make it quick. Right, and that one. So let's try 5. So A is for apple. D. Let's try letter D. 5. D. See, enter only A. Now, what happens if you're going to put a double quote in here? Will it be accepted? Something like that. 5. A. It could be accepted because this program is like related to using the old commands in Python. It is acceptable. So, however, if you are doing a string manipulation when we go higher topics, then we will have a problem with the double quote for for a character. So a character mostly it should have only one. It should have only one quote to make safe. All right. So later on, you will understand why am I only asking you to do that so you won't get confused. All right. So I hope these examples for your relational operands and logical operands used in the if-else statement will help you do your task number 2. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you are able to uh, finish the work and you will do the task number 2 and send it on time. Thank you so much. I'll make another video for your task number 2. Bye.